let's take a look at how we can go and add in our other blocks here. So let's spawn the dark block here. So let's go to spawn dark block. And what we'll do is we'll say dark block, okay, is equal to sk sprite node. And the color we'll add in here, we'll say off black color. And the CG size will be block size. Now conveniently I set block size up at the top so that if I want to go and check it out, for instance, and change it, I can go ahead and do that quite easily. And let's just go to dark block dot size is equal to block size, right? And again, that's for if you want to add in your own art later. It saves you out having to do the logic here. I like to do all the logic at once, but sometimes it's not possible. All right. So we're going to say dark block dot position is equal to, and we can do this two ways. We can set up a random variable right on the spot here, and we'll do that. We'll say dot x is equal to cg float, and the reason why we're converting this thing into a cg float is the dark block position dot x is of type cg float. The number that is being in that it's asking for is a cg float, so we're going to say int and then arc for random underscore uniform, and we will say that this arc4 random uniform here will be 500 plus 300. So it's going to put a value between 500 and 300. Now, this is where data gets a little bit complicated, and perhaps in a future version of Swift you won't have to do this, but for now, arc4 random uniform is a uint32. We could convert that to int, and I usually like to convert it to int just because you normally have to convert it to int, and then we can convert it to float. Now, technically, you can just get away with converting it to CG float automatically. It's up to you. However, I know that students will come in and they'll say, "Why can't I convert my arc4 random to an integer?" So you can. That's how you convert it to an integer. It's up to you, whichever one you want to do. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it like this, and we're going to go dark block dot position dot y is equal to 1100, and this is somewhere up at the top. So what we've done here is, imagine this is our iPhone. We're going to spawn the dark block somewhere along the top here. That's our x coordinates, which x coordinates are across, and then somewhere up here. So somewhere up above, kind of where this gray part is where all of our dark blocks are going to get spawned. Okay. So we got everything there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add in our physics body. So we're going to go to dark block dot physics body is equal to sk physics body, and we're going to do rectangle of size dark block dot size. Okay, and we'll also do, and of course it asks you to change that in here as well. Most of the time, Swift makes the correct decision for you. Let's go to darkblock.physicsBody is equal to, or .physicsBody.affected by gravity is equal to false. Okay. Darkblock.physicsBody.allows rotation is also equal to false. Then we need to add in our physics category. So we're going to say darkblock.physicsBody.category bitmask is equal to physics category dot dark block. And we're going to go dark block again dot physics body dot contact test bitmask is equal to physics category, right? Physics category dot player. Dark block dot physics body dot dynamic is equal to, in this case, we're going to make it equal to true. Then we're going to say dark block dot name is equal to dark block name. All right. Self.addChild dark block. All right. Let's add in a function here. We'll say move dark block to bottom. Okay. And within this, we're going to say let move down is equal to sk action dot move to y. Remember, y is up and down, and if you make it equal to, let's say, negative 150 at an ns time interval of specifically block speed. Okay, remember we set up block speed earlier, so now you can go and change that whenever you wish. All right, then we're going to say let destroy is equal to sk action dot remove from parent. So we got move down and destroy. So the reason why we need to destroy it is that every time you go and add or take away a game object, it uses up a little bit of space. If you had, let's say, 2,000 game objects or nodes, it would very much slow down your computer and your phone. So you don't want to do that. So we're going to go to, in this case, dark block dot run action, and you have to do the dark block dot run action, not self dot run action. You want to put this action to the dark block, and we're going to go to sk action dot sequence, and then we add in a sequence of events. We're going to add move down, comma destroy. So it's going to move down first, and then once it gets to, well, negative 150, it'll destroy itself. In the dark block here, we're going to say move dark block to bottom. And that's pretty much all we need to do there. So once this dark box spawns, it will go ahead and we'll add that in here. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's type in the next item here, which is the light block, which is pretty much the same thing. Function will go spawn light block. It's pretty much the same thing, but it's not exactly the same thing. So we're going to say light block is equal to sk sprite node. Okay, and you can see here that we want a UI color and a size. So the UI color is going to be off-white color, and the size here is going to be, in this case, the light block is going to be block size. Okay, and then light block dot size is equal to block size. We're setting it twice, but just in case you want to add your own. Okay, now we can copy and paste a little bit. I'm going to copy and paste this dark block and copy and paste the light block here. It's essentially the same thing that we want to do, is we want to just spawn it somewhere up at the top. Let's add in our physics body. So we'll say light block dot physics body is equal to sk physics body, and we're going to do light block dot size. And just to show you what Xcode wants, so it wants you to add in that exclamation point and make sure your brackets are all set up correctly. Light block dot physics body dot affected by gravity is equal to false. Light block dot physics body dot allows rotation is equal to false. Okay, and I'll just add in a little bit of space here. And we're going to go to light block dot physics body dot category bit mask is equal to physics category dot light block. We're going to go to light block dot physics body dot contact test bit mask is equal to physics category dot player, because that is what it is going to be colliding with. All right, light block dot physics body dot dynamic is equal to true. Light block dot name is equal to light block name, and there you go. That's going to be everything in there. And we're going to go to self.addChild light block so we can add it to the screen. Let's add in another function here. This function will be called move light block down, and what we can do is we can actually copy this function if we really wanted to, but we'll say move light block, then move light block to bottom. So now it calls this here, And all we need to do is change dark block with light block. That's pretty much everything here. Okay, so if you wanted to change the block speed, you could do that if you want to, but for the most part, this is essentially what we need to have in there. Okay, this includes the tutorial.